Expecting to go to Riston, I went to jail in Tassie on the 15th of September next month because I've done a few assaults and just went off the rails a bit, broke the law a fair bit.
He only got locked up in remand because he broke his bail conditions, and now he'll go up on all of his charges on the 15th of September and get sentenced to actual prison.
And that's because everyone shit on me at once, mate, and down here. Our family, everyone just turned on me for some reason. I don't know. All I do is fucking stick up for every cunt and be Mr. Nice Guy, you know. Do everything for everyone. Everyone just spat on me, mate, so I told them, well, you fucked. They're gonna bash them, watch them all fucking burn, mate, more or less. Fucking. They've got a lot of hate and anger, man, that I've been trying to fucking bury, and they've just brought it back out, like. They've just erupted a whole new fucking ball game, mate. Simple as straight out how I can put it to you. That's it. I go to jail, every time I get out and I show all these cunts, and then I'll move away and start my own life fresh. Simple as it is. Even though if I could, I'd fucking choose. I should choose the other way. Just moved out and forgot them all, but I don't know. You don't know so much anger and hate in you for so long, mate, before you gotta let it come out. See on Dad's name?
I mean, like, not like...
Yeah, he face cam.
I don't think that anyone should have to feel like that. But I can understand why he does.
If I could drive a knife through the closest cunt to me and not think nothing, just to see how much it hurt him. I mean, that's twisted, man. I just got that much pain, like, oh. I don't know, just when I shake someone's hand, I just want to squeeze it, man, so their fucking handbrakes. Just, I don't know why. Just because I'm fucking angry, man, frustrated all the time. It's gonna hurt something.
Little horny devil going across peace sign.
Family bag behind me back, just shit that hurts. Shit that pisses you off. And I don't do nothing to fucking deserve it, you know what I mean? Yeah. If I don't fucking let it all out, mate, I'm gonna end up fucking commit suicide or some shit, and I don't want that. So this is the best way to deal with it, is just fucking let it all out. Even though some fucking things are probably not supposed to happen like that, but oh well. It's the way I think I can pull my life in, you know. I've been taking drugs a fair bit lately, so go to jail, get me off the drugs and shit. Yeah. But if I could, I would have changed my life a long time ago when I was a kid, mate. Before I went out and smashed cars up, before I did the little petty things that lead to bigger and bigger.
It's just, man, it's not a good life. And waiting, like, oh, I don't want to cry, but he can go for a walk or something, or go somewhere, and I'm going to be sitting here and not know whether he's going to come home, whether the cops have got him or something.
It's all about reputation, but when you have a fucking reputation, man, it's not good, because everyone just wants to take that reputation. You know what I mean? You just end up with shit. Shit after shit. Isn't that right, darling? Yeah. You love Dad? Yeah.
Oh, kids are supposed to see cops as someone they can go to for help. Whereas Piper, even she's only 2, she's seen them take her dad away and shit like that. So she sees them and she's like, no, like, and sees them coming into her house and looking through all of her stuff and stuff like that. It shouldn't be like that. She should be able to see them as someone she can go to if she ever needs help.
A few of my friends and that are always going in and out of there flat out, and yeah, I know pretty much all about it, the ball game. Yeah, just told them to keep it to myself, do my own time, don't ask favours, and you know, don't do no favours for anyone else, and you'll be right. Oh, yeah, they give me the tips to fucking get through it pretty good. Yeah.
5 days was hard enough, and now we've got to wait and see how long he's got to go to prison. But we've decided, we're packing up our house now, we've decided that after he gets out, we're going to move out of here and try and start fresh, and where we know no one. No one can harass us or get in trouble.
I don't want my daughter to come down. I don't want to see her while I'm down there. She hasn't never been in a place like that. Not at all. Just be hard for her, I suppose. And like when she, you know, she screams her ass off when I go out the front door. Let alone if she's coming out visit me and trying to take me home. I don't know. Fuck, that'd kill you, mate. But I just get the missus to come and see me once a blue moon. And yeah, that's it. I just see him when I get out, I suppose.
Keep in contact with letters and photos and...
You know, you get visitors, man, you just want to get home quicker. You know, I mean, you just ignore everyone, man, and just do your own thing down there. By the time you fit in, you're coming out, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just scared it's going to make me fucking worse.
I was born in Lonavale, down near Huonville. I'm one of 7 children, and I had a mother and father who didn't get along very well. As a result of my parents not getting along very well, we were put in state care. I think I was around 8 years old when I was first put into state care. I went into orphanages and various homes all the way through until I was 16. The system back then, in my opinion, was wrong. We were institutionalised. One of the homes I was in state care, we used to have to work there as well as go to school. I was just over 12 years old, I think, when I was placed in that home, and it was a culture shock for me because a lot of the girls that were there were quite hardened criminals then. We had to get up early of a morning and we would have breakfast, and then after breakfast we'd go to work in a laundry with big mangles and presses and so forth, and we'd have to take sheets off these big mangles and we'd burn our fingers, and we'd do that for a couple of hours, and then we'd have to go to school, and we'd finish school and then we'd have a drink and then we'd go back to work, and we'd work then until about 5ish and then have tea and some small part of the recreation, and we'd get 50 cents a fortnight pocket money for work we'd done. After a while of being at Mount St Canis, I became quite rebellious. There was lots of fighting in amongst the girls. There was quite a few girls there, and a couple of friends and myself decided that we were going to run away, and we did. And that was a regular occurrence for us. We used to run away probably every 6 months or so. And the nuns used to think that we'd run away just to be with boys, and that wasn't the case at all. We were running away from the system and how we were being treated there. If it wasn't for the bikies early on in my life, when I was 17, 18 years old, in Sydney and in Melbourne, I would probably be dead by now. People would shudder at the thought of associating with bikers, but I found bikers, as a rule, were close-knit, they were staunch to each other, and they looked after me in a way that nobody else ever did. Not the system, not the homes, not anybody. They fed me, they gave me a place to live, and they respected me as a person. Things haven't changed all that much over the years. You still see kids roaming the streets, you still see young kids sleeping in parks. It should not be happening.
My mum's mate rang Nan because I was left in the unit. Welfare was coming to get me, so Nan came and got me. And ever since then I've been living with Nan up until I was, I don't know, about 13, 14. So I decided to move around a bit. But yeah, up and through them years I was in and out of welfare with her. Fucking moving all around the state, went to heaps of different schools from Smithton up to Lonnie, went to schools in between every little town. Went to Victoria, went to a few schools over there. Due to the fact of moving around, it's that I can't hardly read, write, can't do maths properly, and it really pisses me off. When I was about 8 or 9, got taken off my nan and put in welfare. That's where my crime all started. Started started smoking drugs and fucking drinking alcohol. Welfare put me into a home, got in amongst all them, thought I was cool, fucking dropping out of school, smoking drugs, doing crime, doing what I wanted. Thought I was a man. I went through several different houses through the welfare. I moved through 5 in Burnie, went to 1 year in Smithton, went to 3 or 4 in Devonport, and ended up going to a couple in Holston. And I moved around there. I think that was all in a year and a half, under a year and a half. And that was just wrecking me. Didn't know what was going on, not with my family, not with anyone who loved me, just with people that had to look after me. So I just relied on my family on the streets, and my crime friends, and thought they was there every day with me. So that was the one who was showing me love, that was teaching me everything I knew. Well, yeah, that just kept on going, I suppose, and because I liked the rush out of the crimes I was doing and the drugs and the alcohol, I thought it was the way of life because that was how I grew up. Then everything just started getting real serious and real fast, and cops started locking me up. Ended up getting locked up a few times, and ended up getting kicked out of the state, moved houses, got that many houses, moved through that many houses through crime, and then I got locked up when I was 16, got put in Ashley for breaking into a car, and that's when I think life really looked up and said, well, we're going to a way I don't want to go. And then stayed out of trouble for about a year, moving around again, went up to my nan's in Victoria and did a heap of shit up there, crime, and once again thinking I was cool, never fucking really cared what I was doing, just did what I wanted, and got into heaps of trouble up there, and just left up there again, moved back down here, and yeah, did more silly shit stuff and got locked up again. That was the armed robbery. I got locked up for 7.5 months with that. That was a big kick in the guts. Sitting there in your room for 12 hours a night, just, I don't know, nothing. You don't do nothing. All you can do is think. Think about what you've done. Think about why you're there. Think about everyone you've ever hurt. Both in your family, your friends, people you've done crime against. It just all comes down to reality, I guess, when you're sitting there by yourself. No friends, no family, no one to talk to that I knew anything. So I was just, I don't know, being a new kid at a new school, I guess. And yeah, I just took that on, started going to school, and I don't know, just making the best out of it, I guess. Went to school, went metalwork, woodwork, did all that. And then got a few tickets out of that, doing all that. But getting out was scarier. That was the scariest thing I'd done for a while. Didn't know how people was going to look at me. Thought papers made what I'd done sound real bad, and just made it sound horrible, like I was just a low life. But I know I've been away from everyone for so long, not talking to nobody, like just, yeah, going back out into the big world. It was a bit, it was a pain. Didn't know what to do, didn't know where I was going, just scared the shit out of me. Everyone that looked at me, I thought they wanted to fight. Just, no way. Something I don't want to go again.
Well, I was a pretty good football player back in my younger days, and I sort of had ambitions of maybe playing on for in the NTFL or the State League, but no, the football sort of went by the wayside when I discovered a different side of life. I got my first taste of actual prison not long after my 17th birthday. Crimes of dishonesty, just general, running amok as a kid, and scary, I guess. I was a 17-year-old boy, and here I was being chucked into a men's prison, and it's not like you imagine, I don't think. You got a 6x9 cell with a bed and a toilet, a desk and a TV. It's certainly the only place in the world where you'll sleep in your toilet. Well, I've been able to progress with my education and get some trade certificates out of actually my time. I've used it productively and learnt skills that if I never went to prison I probably would never have learnt. I regret the victims of my crime had to go through the trauma and horrible things that they went through as I committed my crime, and I regret hurting people. Things have changed for me, where before I went back to the same old thing and the same old people, and I ended up back in prison. Now, my extended family has opened their hearts and homes and taken me in as my children, of course. They're getting older now, and they sort of understand where Dad is, and I think I owe it to them and myself to be able to stay up and be a better father and give them the father that they need and what they've missed out on for so many years. I'd like to be full-time employed, obviously, be in my own house and just be a normal, average Joe citizen, like put my prison life behind me.
Then I started playing football when I was only about 13. I played mini league, then I worked my way up and I started playing football here. I started off with City Magpies, they called, the black and white side. And I worked my way up and got into the seniors, and I was about 17, 18. I used to go with one of my mates, and we used to go up the coast and that and get on the piss all the time. And I broke into one of the Saints sheds, Smithton Saints, and we stole alcohol and that. I was only about 14, 15 then, with a heap of other guys, and silly me, and I didn't hear the alarm going off at the Saints sheds. I was the one who got caught for it. Then the other instance, when I got older and someone put all this bags of marijuana in my mum's shed. That's what made me go to jail for a month and a half. I was only young then, I was only about 18 or something when I went to Wisdom. But if you get on the football side, you're laughing. I mean, the yard's not very big and kick a goal from one end to the other. I said, Flop, this is your first game, isn't it? We had our own coach, inside coach. Yep. He said, where do you like to play? The best spot I ever played is full forward. Right, and he said, that's where you're going. So I went there, and inside prison, I mean, that was the hardest game I've ever played football. I mean, they was big guys, they weren't small. Every Sunday we was playing football, because I was in jail for a month and a half. And so we played every Sunday. And then they tried to get me to fight on the last game. I said, no guys, I'm out of here, I've had enough. See you later. And I said, no, I'm not going to fight. A lot of people reckon it's like home down there, but if you get in the wrong yard, you're sorry.
I grew up in Longford, went to primary school there, right through to grade 6 from kindergarten. Moved away when I was 12 and went to live with my father.
No, I'm 14. I live in care, sort of like a shelter sort of thing.
There's not much to say about me, but live in care, Waters State, as someone else, and been in and out of here since I was 12. Left school in grade 6.
Never really been to school. I left school like grade 3. Don't like it really. It ended me up here.
On detention a lot, always time out and stuff. I'm more of an outdoors person. I like the sports classes, that's all I really went to school for. Played football for high school and that.
Because I'm young, I don't get paid at all and I can't apply for a job, so I used to just steal money to get my drugs and my alcohol. I was sentenced for 2 counts of aggravated armed robbery.
I was sentenced for mainly burglaries, aggravated armed robbery and 3 federal offences.
I was sentenced for armed robbery.
Stealing an ATM machine and the money inside it.
I used to drive past when I was younger and I just used to think, what's that place like in there? Never thought I'd end up coming here.
I was pretty young and I was pretty scared, but once I started talking to some of my friends that were up here and I was alright.
I was a little bit worried. I was only 14 when I first came in. You never know what to expect when you're going somewhere new, especially a detention centre.
I've been to Ashley's detention centre 8 times that they've got written down, yeah. When I first started coming in here, it was, I was a bit smaller than that, so got picked on a little bit, but now it's not too bad.
We're woken up at about 7:30. We come out of our rooms at 8 o'clock and breakfast goes to 8:30.
Breakfast runs till 8:30. Then programs they start at 9 o'clock.
4:30.
And just
But there's
education
breaks in
and
between.
Sit in the TV room watching TV till 9.
And
yeah.
Go to programs at 9 o'clock and just do my
Go back to
school
our
and
rooms.
mainly
that, and like
I'll go back to our unit.
class.
just
watch
outside
TV for the
and
rest
play
of the
the
day.
Wii and stuff, and
You can bond
Go
with
back,
most of
have
the youth
lunch.
workers, but
go back out,
you can tell the
programs
ones that are
and
here for the money
sit in
and the
the unit
ones
for a
that
few
are here
hours
just
and go to
'cause they
bed.
can be. Hopefully put all this being locked up and stuff behind me this time around. So I'm nearly 18 myself. And I know every day's a start, so why am I worried about yesterday?
When I was about grade 10, I chose, for some reason, and I'm not quite sure, other than I wanted to help people, my focus was to help people in community and basically help people who had something happen to them and needed support. An average day for me at work could mean anything. As a sergeant, I have a lot of administrative duties, but I also attend jobs being a small station. I could have a day fully planned and get a call to go to say an accident or a domestic, and then my whole day is changed. It isn't a straight 9 to 5 job. We're available to be called out at any time. Because you're a police officer, when you're off duty, it doesn't necessarily mean you are off duty. You still have to respond to things that you see and respond to back up the other officers when required to. Making a difference to someone, whether it's fine, if someone's distressed about having something stolen or being in an accident, helping them, whether it's find a little old lady's letterbox or something, just something that makes someone feel more comfortable, more secure in their own home. Quite often, seeing people in the community, you're dealing with them not only in a work relationship, but they may be in the sporting club, in the school, and I have outside roles like a doctor cop. Quite often, a lot of things you go to, like fatal accidents, there are people you know. You might be knocking on the door of someone you know and telling them that a loved one's never coming home. So you actually, it's a little bit harder. It's not like an anonymous person. But for that, the rewards are greater too. It's extremely rewarding to see someone you may have had a lot of trouble with, especially a young person, if they're making mistakes, and you can, even if it's by charging them, putting through a process, but seeing them improve themselves and take the chances which are given to them and to change their lives, that is extremely rewarding, seeing someone turn themselves completely around.
And the process doesn't start straight off with detention. There's community youth justice interventions, formal and informal warnings from police that occur before a young person, generally as a rule, ends up at Ashley Youth Detention Centre. The Youth Justice Act brought about the restorative justice model, whereby young people are encouraged to take responsibility. They're encouraged to get involved in programs and activities that provide reparation for the community. They're encouraged to be deterred from detention as a last resort for committing crimes in the community. Young people are participating in programs whilst they're in detention. The focus is on targeting individuals' needs through case management processes. Mental health well-being is definitely one of those aspects. Some young people are going to have very sad and serious issues going on in their lives. We have youth workers supervising young people through the daily routines, including programs. The incentive scheme in operation centre, which is a big motivator for young people to behave and demonstrate responsibility and trust. Young people are able to manage their own behaviour and reward themselves at the end of each day by earning a particular amount of points that are available through the unit routines. Benefits range from additional phone calls to extended TV time, DVD movie, or a PSP games. Recidivism rates for young people that we receive here is about 65%. So what happens with guys on detention orders is that quite often they're going back into exactly the same, accommodation, peer group, family, whether it's positive or negative, whether it's a family breakdown scenario, or not having the means to be able to support themselves, which sometimes is the reason why that they offended in the first place. There are a few different programs that go some way to address those types of issues. Generally, as a rule, young people tend to commit more petty crimes at a younger age, but if that link isn't broken, then their crimes tend to become more and more serious the older they get. The youth of tomorrow are the responsibility of the wider community, but it starts with how families are supported.
I was already sitting in the courtroom and had watched these other guys go up on like different offences, different things, and was sitting there thinking, he should have went for jail for that, like stealing and doing runners on the bloody cops and shit like that. And I was just like, he should have went. And I was sitting there thinking, I'm right, he's not sending anyone. And then he sentenced me and I just had to sit there. When I first got to Launceston remand, the first thing I had to do was strip off and get naked and be searched. The first 5 weeks, I just didn't know how long I was going to be there, and I was just missing Megan. She was pregnant, and I just wanted to be out for the birth. And like colours, I noticed they were pretty base colours, the greys and everything, to sort of make you feel gloomy, keep you down. In minimum, everyone worked in that, and down in medium you struggled to find a job, so it made your time drag. You didn't have something to do for the morning, and you was just trying to fill in time all the time, and start playing cards or whatever, and then you end up in debt. I know the morning of the release it was like, and actually the first thing I done was straight to Centrelink. needed cash to get home. Megan was pretty much 8.5 months pregnant, so it was just good to get out and see her and to still be pregnant. real life's then a bit daunting to you. It's like, oh wow, and it was like only 8 weeks in there, and it's like, oh, you know, and you because probably distrust in jail, like, you know, you're always watching your back, and that it sort of comes out with you for a while, and then you finally, after a few weeks and that, you start to relax again. Oh, it's just, you know, 2 kids now, and just, yeah, working, and yeah, life's pretty good now.
Sort of started when my parents split up and had a stepmother that threw us all out. Me especially, I was the eldest, I was on the streets. And I used to pinch milk money. I'm not proud of that. And bread money and bread or anything I get my hands on to live. And then I sort of graduated to breaking into a few shops. And well, to put it mildly, I started enjoying it. I met up with another bloke, and we really, coming from Wynyard, and this is where this all happened in Wynyard, we got sent to Ashley Boys Home. Big time. Broke out of there a few times and thieved and stole cars and everything, and so on and so forth. At 17 I got 12 months jail, believe it or not, you young fellas, 12 months jail for pinching 1 car. I sort of graduated to a bit of thuggery then. When you're in jail, if you don't fight back, a lot of you guys might know, you rat shit. And I learned to fight big time, and when I got out, I once or twice called a jailbird, bang bang, and down I went again. I've seen awful things in jail, terrible things. I've seen blokes kicked to death. I've seen the ambulance come in the yards and take them away. And I've actually been part of it, I'm ashamed to say. I used to feel like a coiled spring, you know, it's a cliche I know, but I was always tense. And my wife used to say to me, why are you always so angry and sort of tensed up? I was like it for years, you know, I was just ready to burst, and I often did. Dad had a lot of trouble during the war, and he was a pretty nasty, vicious man. Mum wasn't much better. You know, when your mother holds a knife at your throat and telling you you're the reason that she's clearing off with this bloke, and Dad would just go off and not belt me, but just give me the biggest kickings and win me and knock me out. You know, I was always at school with broken bloody nose twice, black eyes and that sort of thing, but I'm not saying that's why I was bad. I was bad because I enjoyed it, and I'll admit it, but it must be part of the reason for you, yourselves and myself, you know. But anyhow, that's how it used to happen, and Dad would walk past me in the street and wouldn't speak to me. And God, it used to hurt, I couldn't believe it. And maybe that's why I lashed out like I used to. I mean, because I don't want to blow my own trumpet, when I went off there was no stopping me. While you're doing it, you have fun, and I had fun. You know, I took the biffs and the bashes and everything, as you do. And then when you get middle-aged like now, I'm having terrible nightmares, and it's always the police. My wife suffers, she's got to turn the light on as quick as possible because I'm having nightmares about me, yeah, probably irresponsible youth. And this is when it hits you later on in life. I've got young blokes that used to hero worship me, walk in the pub, call me over the table, and they used to call it Doug the Thug's table. Before I had nightmares about it actually. Now I'm getting a bit long in the tooth, I seem to have them more. And they're not pretty. Ask me wife. You know, she's got to put up with me thrashing around in bed and jumping out of bed and sparring with imaginary cops and that sort of thing. And this is what happens to you, and this is what will happen to you. So I was in Spencer Wing for a while, and all the blokes up there, none of them would go to the, you know, the things they'd have, like teaching you how to breathe and different things like that. And I went to every one of them, and by God I learned a lot. You know, the blokes would hang shit on you for doing it, but I used to go there with the girls, and I'm no girl, and I I bloody learned from it, and that's when I started being cured. I listened, I learned, I started going and seeing people. And one or two of them didn't work, and I kept trying. That's what you got to do. Keep looking for that right one, you know. I mean, you're allowed to have a second opinion. We've all got them. And you'll always find that one you'll be able to click with, because I have. You don't blame anyone but yourself, you know. We're all masters of our own destiny. That's a fact. You can't really blame anyone else, even though probably legally, morally they are to blame. You are master of your own destiny.
What I remember doing is going and buying a bottle of tequila in the morning, about 9 o'clock I think. Like I thought that alcohol, you know, if I drank, then I wouldn't have to deal with shit. Then it made things worse. I had a head-on collision. I was driving on the wrong side of the road. Then I woke up in hospital the next morning. Got told there was 2 other people in critical condition. I think there was broken vertebrae. Shattered kneecap for one of them, collarbone, broken ribs. You know, when you wake up in the morning, you know, your girlfriend's not there. Or, you know, wake up in hospital, don't know what you've done. Find out you nearly killed two other people. Then I got charged with 2 counts of grievous bodily harm caused by dangerous driving. 30 months, bottom of 15. There wasn't really much rehabilitation in there. I done a course while I was in that pathways course. That was about all there was. You know, I miss peace and quiet. You know, there's always noise going on, people talking, showering on your own, you know, having your own shower. You know, you have to shower fucking 20, 30 other blokes sometimes. And just being able to do what you want, sort of thing. Instead of having someone tell you when you have to go to bed. Shit like that. Yeah, well, I think I would have been better off at a rehab for 18 months rather than in jail. At least I could have learned more about my drinking problem and whatnot. I suppose I use alcohol as a numbing agent, so I didn't have to deal with things in reality. You know, I feel a lot of remorse for other people. Yeah, conditions of my parole, I can't go into a licensed premises for 12 months. Can't drink, can't drive. And I have to go to parole office once a fortnight. And I have to do a bridge program every week. Holding metal knives and forks again felt a bit funny. And money. And just going down the shop, you know, have that freedom. You know, you go and buy a fucking block of chocolate or something if you want. But I'm still a bit weary about walking around, and I still feel just a bit of anxiety, I suppose. Well, now I feel, you know, I got nothing. Before, you know, I had just about everything I wanted, you know. I didn't have much money or nothing, but I had, you know, someone to love, car, job. Friends, but now I burn a lot of bridges with friends and stuff, and it's sort of like I have to rebuild all that. I don't know what I need. Go back to work. Start playing music again. Give myself hints on how to be better, you know, tips how to be better in relationships. I don't know, just trying to get my head back together, you know, back to where I was a few years ago. You know, when I was working, had my license, car, girlfriend, when I sort of enjoy being myself, sort of thing.
The Circular Head Aboriginal Corporation is a not-for-profit organisation that delivers a varied range of services to the Aboriginal community of Circular Head. Those programs can range from family support programs right through to support for prisoners through care and youth diversion.
Growing up in Circular Head, Smithton in particular, I've had a lot to do with a lot of the football clubs and coaching some of the kids. Can see a lot of the problems that go on in the community through what goes on at the footy club and places like that. One of the reasons I do my job is that there are no bad kids.
The Prisoner Through Care program offers a set of services. The most important one for us is to ensure that prisoners upon release have the support networks in place already.
The youth diversion program, our main aim is to try and get hold of these kids before they get into the court system. If they've knocked something off somebody, which happens a lot, graffiti, this sort of thing, we sit down with them and with the people that they've offended against, try and work it out. Use our sport and rec program a lot with these young guys to get them out in the bush, try and teach them a few skills. We work with a lot of other programs, U-Turn, rural health and the high school in particular.
Integration back into a community for people that have done hard crimes isn't an easy process, so our role is to ensure that the prisoners come back into the community if possible. It's about also the families of the prisoners to support them as well through the process.
It's very important for them to keep their family ties because, hey, let's face it, when you're in the camp, that's about all you've got. We try to support them in there. We'll take their families up, our brother or a sister, whatever it may be. Do the same things at Risdon. We send care packages to the prisoners and to the young guys at Ashley.
At present, we're working with around about 18 families, and that includes the families and the children of the prisoners. A lot of our work is done from the community.
Yeah, any of the guys that we work with that come out of Ashley or Risdon, we encourage them to make contact with us or services like us so that we can at least get them started on the right track. Make sure when they come out that Centrelink's already in place, which is very important. Somewhere safe for them to live is probably more important than anything. And try and get them into work. We've had a pretty good success rate with having jobs set up for the guys and girls.
We're seeing a lot of intergenerational issues, so if there has been a parent within the prison system, the children think that's part of their normal day-to-day life, so they start to show behaviour that could end them in the judicial system. Our role is to make sure that we can break that cycle.
If you don't play sport in Circular Head, there's not much else to do. And the kids get a lot of time on their hands and get together, a few of these young guys, and that's where a lot of the trouble comes from, boredom.
We're seeing a culture of drugs, alcohol and gambling abuse.
We have major marijuana usage by not only the kids, mums, dads. Kids now starting to get into petrol sniffing and different inhalants. That's our household spray, fly spray, underarm, you name it, they have a crack at it.
My personal thoughts are that the responsibilities have to come back to the parent.
Everybody in the community has a responsibility to these kids. If you can get a kid's trust, there's not much you can't do.